Atchison, Kansas, you have got to make a trip down there. There's so many locations that you can stay overnight in. That whole town is jacked. And I think if I had to compare Atchison, Kansas, I'm comparing it to Shepherdstown. Watching Ghost of Shepherdstown and watching Nick and Elizabeth on there, they would have a great success in Atchison, Kansas. It is identical to Shepherdstown. There is something going on. So
sorry, the chat's 30 seconds behind us. We cut out for a second, which is the first time that's ever happened to me.
That's weird.
Other than my own fuck-ups, because I fuck up a lot, but this time it was internet or something, or Spreaker. See, the internet or Spreaker, because the little thing, so hopefully.
Yeah, it says, someone said it ended.
Oh, that's my sister. Oh, I don't know why it ended. I've never had that issue.
Yeah, that's weird. Better not be my house messing with it.
No. So, I don't know if I'm going to be careful because I don't know if they can hear us or not. I don't know if I'm supposed to restart. I've never had this. This is like 7, 8, 9. This is like my 10th episode. I don't know why.
That's crazy. It could be Skype, too. Skype's kind of...
Yeah. No, it's not Skype. It's Spreaker. Hold on. Let me check.
All right.
Did you say you pissed off a spirit or something? That's what some podcasters would say. You'd be like, "Oh, you're messing with the wrong spirit, dude."
I actually have some dolls in here that have attachments to it, so I might have just pissed them off. So.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, there's a new episode.
Okay.
Here we go. Let's see. So weird. I saw it. It's right before they said it. I saw my little Spreaker thing go in circle. I'm like, that's never happened before. I'm horrible at technology.
Something probably didn't want us to talk. It's okay.
Let's see if I did reload Jen. I'm the host and Jen's walking me through it. She's so great.
Yeah, that's good. It's nice to have somebody like that there.
Chris Case. Here we go. This might be it. Try this one. This might be it. Yeah, I think we're back. I think we were live the whole time, but it just switched networks. That's why I was careful of. I still have not dropped the F-bomb for the record. Longest time I've ever gone on a show.
Good. Yeah, it says live broadcast. Let me go back. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you got to go out and go back in. You'll see the second. Yeah. All right.
All right.
Let's see. We have Jen B. We have my stepdaughter Mallory, who I love. She's so beautiful. We have Miss Luna.
Already in.
Yeah, this is fun. Yeah, I've never seen that before, and I'm plugged straight into my Wi-Fi. So, I mean, straight into the box, not is Wi-Fi the same as internet? Don't laugh.
Yeah, it is. We won't laugh, but
you know what I mean, though. It's not like I have the cable. Is what I mean.
Yeah, it is. It's the same, but running it through cable actually boosts it a lot more because that's what I have to do for videos. I run cable straight into my computer. That way it gives the streaming a lot better.
Yeah, that's what I did. That's why I've never seen that before, but
cool.
I don't even remember where we were.
I don't know. Something about, I think I ended with the Sally house. I don't know. I don't know where
that's where we were. Yeah.
I don't know where they heard us kind of kick out, but technology is amazing, but it also sucks, don't it?
It does. It's like the best thing ever and the worst all in one.
All in one.
Especially me, since I know nothing. Like, I'm like, hit play, and that's about it.
Yeah.
So.
It's good to go now. We're going. We're rolling.
We're rolling. Rolling with the punches anyways, right?
Yep.
Let's see. Charity.
Yeah.
Are you still doing, let's see, I got one here written down. I have a couple, but last time I knew you were your big one, because you do multiple ones, right?
Yep.
The last one, you, Spirit of the Children. You still do that one?
Yeah.
Why don't you tell us about that?
So that charity is actually tied in with Spirit Halloween stores. So what they do is the Spirit of Children is a charity where all the money goes towards that. There's bracelets in at each counter. So you buy them for $2. It goes in towards charity for the spirit of the children. What that charity is they make sure that kids that are hospitalized are able to have Halloween. They purchase candy and a bunch of other stuff for the kids in hospitals to go up and enjoy Halloween, to be a kid. And that's ever since I found that charity, the first time was, I think this is my 5th year doing it now, to where I at least donate $500 to $1,000 to each, to that every year. Because to me, that's really important for these kids to be able to enjoy Halloween. I was lucky to live a life of not having to be hospitalized my whole childhood. Like my son is lucky enough right now too. And it's one of those that I feel for those kids, like I can't imagine what they're going through. They're living the happiest life that they can, but to be able to, them give to kids like that, like that's awesome. And that's, for people that are into football or not into football, like I've seen what Iowa University does, where they built that new children's hospital so it can overlook the field so these kids can watch the Hawkeyes, and they turn around and wave to those kids. I mean, how can you not be a fan of that? That's amazing. That's super cool.
It's little things that matter in a time of need, that most people don't understand. But something for a sick child is as simple as candy at Halloween or other Halloween related stuff. That's a big freaking deal. It really is.
It's to them. Like I got it from my parents. They always have that radiothon here in Omaha where you can adopt a family in need, and my parents do that every year. And so I grew up with that, learning from that. Like this, they've got my son involved now with going and buying the gifts for these families, and it's super cool to now teach my son that, hey, he's a normal 9-year-old where he wants everything in sight, but for me to teach him, like, there isn't kids that have what you have, like you're lucky to have what you have. Some kids don't have this, and that's something I have to pass on to him. And I just think that us in the paranormal field, we get so wrapped up about the dead, we forget about the living. That we have to take care of the living still, no matter at what cost, we have to take care of.
We have to take care of each other.
Here's
something you don't know about me. And last time you were on the show, it still wasn't brought up publicly, but my house burnt down not even a year and a half ago, and we lost everything. And let me tell you at this point, I only had one minor daughter at home. My other 3 are grown. But she learned real quick, and but she already had a good head on her shoulders. So
that's good.
People, whatever charity you pick, no matter what you do, whether it's sharing a post, whether it's donating money, whether it's, every little thing counts. And it's one thing I've always respected about you, because no matter whether it's the host that brings it up or you, every show you're on, you make sure you bring up one charity or another. And I've just always respected that.
And that's something I actually learned from Dustin. Like I consider Dustin Perry one of my mentors. He always tells me to aim higher than him, but I'll tell you that seeing what he does, like all the anti-bullying stuff that he does, he's a huge talker for depression, and suicide. And suicide is something that needs to be brought up, in this. And I kind of learned just a lot from him when I had the very first chance to investigate next to him and KJ, like they brought a lot to my eyes, and to see that was kind of like, you got to do this stuff. You got to do that. That event I had at July 13th was such a success, and that we raised over $3,500 for this little girl.
Yeah.
Who needs it. And like, I give props to everyone that bought tickets, everyone that took part of the silent auction. Without them, this girl's bills, with all them, her bills got paid, some of them. It's a long battle still because she's outgrowing her body still. But I mean, that little girl is so cute and
But
so
every
awesome.
little thing that each person did adds up,
Yeah,
and it helps. It really does. And sometimes we forget the bigger picture and we're like, oh, I'm just one person. I can't help.
right.
Bullshit. We can.
Yes,
Us as one person, no matter what it is, we can help.
yes,
You know.
you can. And even I see it as, people think, I do events, right? And like
Yep.
I have Steve Gonzalez come into the Malvern Manor on February 9th, right? And people see, like, I put out my tickets for 215, right? And people I saw commenting about, this is too much, that's too much money, we're never going to pay that. I'm sorry, when you do an event, it costs money. This talent doesn't come for free. Steve is not coming for free. And to me, I don't care if I lose money on a guy like Steve or anyone, because what I do is, like when I had a Dustin event, I broke even on that because I didn't care about making money, because I got to learn from Dustin.
Last one I
And
knew, you didn't even break even, to be
yeah,
honest. Last I
and
knew, you were a little under.
yeah,
Still
and
cost you money.
for me to give that experience to put them in front of Dustin and learn like I did, that
Hmm.
means more to me than money does. Like Steve right now, to get people in front of Steve who has been there, who has done it, that is more rewarding to me than any of this money is at all. Like if money was something for me, I wouldn't go donate $500 to $1,000 every year to Spirit of the Children, like
Right?
that wouldn't mean nothing to me.
For people out in the Midwest, let me put this in perspective a little bit. So whether it's $100 or $200, whatever, that's what some events out there cost with big speakers like Dustin Perry or Steve or any of these people. In my area, it's $100 per person just to investigate a location. Just to one person to investigate that location. No speakers, no special people. That's the difference. And I don't do a lot of events, but when I do events, I consider them events.
Yeah.
I'm very vocal about that. But when it goes to a good cause, people, if you're going to spend money to do this location, why not have it at a time that it will be for a good cause?
Right. And Steve, this is his first time ever coming to Iowa. Like,
I didn't even know he was going to be at that one, to be honest.
yeah, he's driving to go to the Queen Mary
Yeah.
after that, because he is there for a Nick Groff tour event. So he's coming through and he's like, man, I really want to stop at the Axe House or the Manor. So I ended up going through his management with Lee Kirkland, asked, hey, would you be interested in Steve? And I said, yes. I love Lee too. Lee is such a down to earth guy, brilliant guy. His
No, I'm
events,
going to say no. I'll pass, but thank you.
right. And Lee's events, if nobody's been to a Nick
Yeah.
Groff tour that Lee puts on, man, those are amazing events. It is so fun for everybody. That was my first event with Dustin and KJ, was one of Lee's, and
Oh.
it changed my life, honestly. Like Lee's events are amazing. And like for Lee to say, hey, do you want him to come to Malvern? Of course. Like, and then I asked Josh, and Josh is like, yeah. And not only that, like for that money, I'm doing that Halloween special anyways, where it's $150 for, you get that same ticket, a VIP ticket, and you're not only getting Steve, but you're getting Johnny Hauser too. I mean, there's two names right there that are worth it.
I would love to see Steve and Johnny Hauser in a room. Well, throw in
It's
tango. Those three together could get into trouble.
Yeah, it's going to be something else. When I approached Johnny with it, I was like, hey, Steve's going to come into the Malvern. And before I could finish, Johnny's like, yes, yes, yes. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So it is cool. And for people to get to learn from Hauser and Steve, that's huge right there. That's good. And that Dustin event we had when it was Johnny and Dustin and Hurd, and people had a blast.
I remember that, yeah.
It was a good time.
I've heard a few people like, well, but Johnny Hauser always does the same place. And I'm like, hello, fucktard. Oh man, almost got it through a show. Almost. My
Yeah.
first F-bomb. I'm like, you have to investigate a place more than once.
Hmm.
Like over and over and over and over again to get the full effect. What are you talking about?
And
It's
why
not like
would you go to that location again when there's so much stuff happening? Like,
right?
Hauser is constantly having stuff happen. Um, I mean, it's a no-brainer, and
The more you go, the more you learn, the more data you can collect, and
right.
the more you can fit the pieces together. But I'm like, what is that? Hit him. What's that? I don't know. I hear a guy say like hit him once and one hit wonders or something.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, one hit one.
no, no,
No.
you have to do these places over and over again. And good for him for doing it
Yeah, you
because,
have to. You really
yeah,
have to, and that's what a season's about. Johnny Hauser verse for a
yep.
reason. You know what I mean?
Sorry,
Yeah,
yes, you knew what
one,
I meant. They might not have, but yep.
yeah, one episode he's not going to go to one place, and the next he's going to the other. It's that way for a reason.
Yeah.
And last I knew he was the number one watch show on Vidi. So
Last night.
that's not last night. He wasn't
Oh,
on
oh,
season 3
last season.
premiered
Sorry.
yet. Yeah, season 2 and 1. I mean, he's a good dude. I always tell people whenever I do tours at the Manor, and that's what I love with these locations, with the Manor and Axe House, 45 minutes away, right? Johnny will have so many tours come through at the Axe House, but he'll say, you guys should go check out the Manor. And same with Josh and I, when I'm doing tours or Josh is doing it, we tell him, hey, go check out Villisca. It's that relationship that is awesome to have, that we can bond and put all that together and like share business with each other.
I wish it was more. I wish it was more out there like that, not just like come to me. But hey,
Right.
how about if you come here and hey, how about this place? Since you're traveling 1,000 miles, check out this place too. And I don't know. Paranormal Unity is as bad as some people claim, but
Mhm.
better than what some people claim. It's like somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, I think there's a middle line there. I see
Yeah.
people claim it, but then at the same time, I see that same person talking shit about another team on a post, and that's what's like, okay, I do think I've always stated it that it's gonna, NASA formed after the Russians put Sputnik in the space. I mean, I shouldn't say they just formed then, but people didn't really believe space was there. They looked up in the sky and they saw the stars and they knew kind of what was there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But it's like until Sputnik was up there by the Russians, then it was like, we have to form this to outbeat the Russians. And so then everybody started then believing in outer space after NASA was formed, and they started going into outer space. Well, the only way, like, we are truly gonna prove to people that this exists is that we come together. That is the only way it is gonna happen. And, that's one of those other things. It's like, people ask me, what's your favorite piece of equipment? I used to take tons of equipment, like cases after cases, right? And now it's like, I take my body, EVP recorder, and maybe a REM pod here and there. Because I came to that conclusion that I don't need to prove this no more. Who do I need to prove this to? I know it exists.
Exactly.
I do not need to prove this to nobody. I know it exists. I have no one, what matter what Joe Blow, if he's a skeptic and he gets attacked right there in a location or something comes flying at his face, he's still not going to believe, because he's going to find a way. Well, it was a gust of wind, right? Like, so why am I supposed to sit there and fight for somebody or fight these skeptics off? Like, I know it exists. I don't need to prove it no more.
See, even when other than, we call EVPs,
Mm-hmm.
if we're like 100% sure, we're like, hey, listen to this EVP. Other than that, Nicole and I, when we catch stuff, no matter what it is, we're like, hey, look at this. This is what we caught from this location, and it's being added to our data. This is interesting. What do you think? I do not believe in the word evidence. And again, some people hate that, but if you can't prove it, it's not evidence. So, but this is interesting. Check it out,
Yeah.
But yeah, that's, people ask me all the time, what's your favorite piece of equipment? Besides yourself and your brain, a recorder.
Yeah.
Whether it's, that day might be a digital recorder, might be a camera, but, and we use other equipment too, don't get me wrong, but those are my favorites. Just, what do you feel? What's going on? Because again, like you said, we don't need to prove anything,
Right.
although we would like to, but at this point we still can't prove it. So
Yeah, when I check in overnights at the manor, normally what I tell them is, and if they've never been there, I always tell them, go down to the Shadowman's Hall, close the door between the Shadowman's Hall and the hall of the wing, and just sit there and be quiet. Like, the noises you will hear is ridiculous. If you just sit there in silence, put a recorder on, and don't do a thing. You don't even have to. At the Melbourne Manor, you do not even have to say, who is here with me right now? This thing's going to talk to you no matter what. Like,
I can't wait.
that's what's crazy is that I always, now with doing all the tours, helping out with the tours there and stuff, I don't investigate there much, like I'll sit there and I will just let it talk to me because it will talk to you without you having to investigate. And that is the power of the Malvern Manor. And I think it's anywhere, There's this Paul guy I know. He was the one that made the audio equipment in the House Reverse finale. When you get to see it, you're going to be like,
oh, I will be.
That equipment. I want that equipment. He will not sell it. He will not
What
make
is that?
It's what he calls ears. It's an audio recorder that can pick up a mouse fart. This thing is the most amazing piece of audio equipment I have ever seen in my life. This thing has picked up things that I have never, I don't know how he did it, but he built it, and it's super amazing. People have asked,
Nice.
Can I buy it? Can you make me one? He won't do it because he doesn't feel like he wants to exploit that. Like, he's not in it to make money, so why does he want to sell his equipment? And he's just such a great dude. And I had him come up one Sunday, and literally we sat that in the attic, and you can hear bodies being drugged, growling, screaming. No one was up there. There's a point in the time where we had to actually go up there and say, who is up here? And nobody, one of the times Josh was on a live feed on Paranormal Warehouse, the manor was. And so Josh calls me at home and he says, dude, get on the live feed. I'm like, okay. Like, he doesn't just randomly call sometimes at 4, I get on there and you can hear doors slamming, footsteps walking all over that place, bodies slamming again. Like, all this shit is happening. And he's like, dude, should I just call the cops? Because I actually think there's a human in there. And I'm like, man, I don't know, because it sounds like there's a human. Like, be careful. He's like, all right, well, I'm going to go back with my gun and I'm going to see what's in there. He goes back there and you see him come up on the camera on the live feed in the attic with his gun out. Not a human in sight. He checked every door, everything. No one. Silent. The whole place goes silent. As soon as he leaves, gets in his car, it unleashed again.
Sorry, I can't talk with both ends. Sorry. What is going? Yeah, you can laugh at me. It's okay. What's going on in your mind though when you're watching this? Like besides what the fudge?
Yeah.
What the fudge?
The only thing I can think in that place that's going on in the attic, and I don't know if I'll ever prove it, because whatever's there don't want to talk. It's made that apparent to us that he does not want to talk. But we do know at the Malvern Manor there was a lot of sexual abuse. There was abuse. I think in that place, when you go there, the most secluded place where the outside world will not hear somebody is up in the attic. So if these doctors or nurses want to take a patient up and rape them, attic right there, got it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's no outside world. And if the patients down below, if they hear it, they're not talking because they're scared out of their mind that they're going to get their asses kicked. I mean, there is still blood, human blood on the walls of the Malvern.
I saw that. Yes.
Yeah.
Like down the hall, it's like kind of streaked a little bit, right?
Yes, you can tell someone got their ass handed to them at that place. And The reason why he hasn't removed it is, why would you? There's history right there. It's not good
I'm
history.
one of those people that get excited about it, but then feel bad because I am excited about it. So I have like very mixed feelings.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this is like, oh, paranormal activity. This is so cool. But then I'm like, wait a minute. So I have mixed feelings, but I mean, we do what we do for a reason. So anybody that's listening is like, why wouldn't they? Well, because we do what we do for a reason, and
It's history. And
it
what happens
is.
if we did move it? What shit would it stir up then? I mean, who knows? We don't know, because we're not going to remove it, because it's history. Like, we don't have a purpose to remove it. And I think there's enough teams that come in there that are respectful that wouldn't move it, wouldn't remove it at all. And at least nobody's tried, which is good, because that would be a little crazy, But I don't know. I don't know what's going on in that place. I think every day's different. Like, I'm going up there tomorrow, and it's going to probably be different than it was a week ago.
That's why. But again, that's why we go back to these places over and over again. I am very big on going to the same location over. I can't stress that enough.
Yeah.
I'm like a broken record on these shows, because I'm like, oh, I've been to this place 12 times. Well, why have you been 12 times? Because the more data I can collect on what season it was, what data we collected, what EVP we got, and what the moon was, and not that I record the moon. I'm lying about that. But I should, but
what location? Like, like, where are you sitting on the equator? Like, where? That's important. It could be important. Like, that's why I hope everybody, when A Brush with Evil 3 comes out, really tunes into it. It's a Vidi exclusive, and it will be on in Vidi in the springtime. But people need to see we didn't approach this. Like, if people have seen A Brush with Evil,
you keep saying we. So what was your? I have to ask, because you're the guest. What was your involvement with this?
I helped film with it. I was one of the cameramen for that. I also am in it. I was involved in it. The investigation. It was, the team was me, Hurd, Nate, Seth, 2 Mikes, Paul, Johnny Hauser. So it was such a great team of people that is involved in this project. And the experiments we did, I'm not going to give it away, but it
will be on Vidi?
Yes, it will be on Vidi. This is this experiment that we tested out, last we checked, hasn't been done since the 70s. So we take a different route onto, Josh is such a brilliant guy that his whole plan was, what happens if I do this? What happens with this and this? And it was so awesome. And like you said earlier in the show, Josh is such a amazing person. He took all ideas from all of us. And I think that's why we all worked so good together, is because we can bounce ideas off of each other, and we have all such good ideas with stuff. Like, without all of us that came together for this project, we wouldn't have this project. I mean, he still would, but I don't know.
It wouldn't have turned out the same.
Yeah, and I don't even know all the exact final findings right now, which I like about it. It's like, when I go to see it, it's probably going to hit me like, oh my God, this happened, But
I haven't seen the second one.
Yeah, you got to check it. It's on Vidi too. 1 and 2 is on.
Now I can do. I saw the first one, but I haven't seen the second. See, now I can watch it.
The second one is what came about the Malvern Manor.
Yeah, I heard about it, but I never saw it.
Yeah, and James is also in it. James Hurd is in this one too. He was in 1 and 2, which is Josh's brother. So
yeah,
and I think that's why you'll see in this third one. In this one it's different because Johnny made an appearance on. He made an appearance as just a guest on one, not actually investigating. Where now you're going to see him and myself brought into this and see what it adds, and Seth, and it's just going to be such a good thing. And yeah, I give props to Seth Alany for doing the camera at a location.
Who was it? Who?
Seth Alany.
Oh, that's one I haven't heard. I'll have to look him up.
Yeah,
If you're giving
he's
him
awesome.
props, I'll have
He's
to
out
look him
in
up. Is
Iowa
he on
too.
Facebook?
Yeah, he's in Iowa. He's actually filming a Sasquatch film right now too.
Nice. Well,
Amazing
oh,
talent.
that's even better. I'm looking for a Bigfoot guy. But if
Yeah,
you give somebody props, I'm going to look him up because
he's talented.
I've never heard you on any show give somebody props that doesn't deserve it. So I take
He's a
note.
talented dude. Talented. And
Is he?
what he goes way back with Hauser too. So and that's what's super cool is that just becoming friends with the people, like I never thought, I guess I look back kind of on my investigation. I don't really say career because I'm not getting paid a lot, I'm not getting paid.
But yeah.
You know what I mean? Like experiences, I should say.
It's
Like
more work than I've ever done in a career, though.
yeah, and it's I guess I'm humbled by where I'm at in this field, as far as it was literally 4 years ago I'm watching Dustin and on Ghost Hunters and idolizing him and being a fan of him, like, oh my God, I love these guys. And then I got to meet him and now like here and there we'll just BS text each other, like just see how things are going. Like that's surreal to me. Same with Elizabeth and Nick. I watched Paranormal Lockdown like it was my job. I love everything Nick has ever done. Love Ghost of Shepherdstown.
I've only seen a couple episodes of Paranormal Lockdown, but number one, it's hard to get that channel where I am. So that's number one. But I don't have enough time to watch Paranormal TV, but I remember the one where he was in, I think it was Hinsdale.
Mm-hmm.
And he like ran out, right? Was that Hinsdale?
Yeah, and they did the Malvern Manor as well.
I remember the Malvern and I remember Hinsdale. Those are the two I remember.
Yeah. They've been all over. And just that show, like, I just grew to it because Katrina is fantastic, amazing.
Yes, she's the one in the lockdown, yeah.
Yes, so good.
Actually, I take that back. I've seen more of the lockdown than I just said. Yeah, now I'm remembering.
Her and Nick are such a good duo. And then it was like, then here came Ghost of Shepherdstown. And I'm like, I started watching it, and then I got to see Elizabeth Saint and her talent. And I'm like, the brain of Elizabeth Saint is fantastic.
I remember a couple of years ago. Yeah, and she started talking, and actually before the show I found out, but I was like, what? She's an engineer.
Yeah. She makes all the equipment for Paranormal Lockdown.
Yeah, I found that out maybe 3 years ago on a show, Haunted in the Heartland, I think it was. I'm like, wow, I did not know that.
People don't realize Vidi Space, she created that all, coded everything. Yeah. All the Amazon TV app, she's coding everything for it.
She's proof you can be beautiful and smart.
Smart, beyond smart. And, just like now I look back at that, like, here it was just literally 2 years ago, I'm sitting there fanning about them, and now they're my boss. Like, it's surreal to me, and it's super cool. And I just getting to know Elizabeth and Dustin and Hauser and her, the humble people they are.
You've known Hauser for a while, though.
Yeah, I've known Hauser for a little while. So
wait, give me the lowdown. Now that they're your bosses, do you have to be careful what you say on shows like this?
No. I mean...
Do you have, like, free range? Can you say whatever you want?
Obviously I can't give away their secrets, but...
Well, yeah, but I mean, you can voice your own opinions.
Yeah, I mean, and I honestly, not just because I'm biased and all that, but I think it's a great network that they brought to the paranormal field. It's just a step closer to us now. I know we say we don't have anyone to prove it to, but this is a step closer that
we say that, but yet we want to. Yeah,
they took a step closer because the content on there is amazing. Johnny Hauser live verse is purely live.
Versus, yeah.
It is live. He is not editing nothing on that show.
I love live stuff,
and that is what is amazing about it. And I love the concept of it. I
love edited stuff too because it's usually funny, but I love live stuff.
Like Ghost Crier, they premiere next week.
The 19th.
Yeah, so
Ghost Crier. Sorry,
it's going to be awesome to watch them. And I think, Nick and Elizabeth, they put such a good crew together that all work together. I mean, behind the scenes, there's not a lot of us, there's me, Charla from Girls vs. Ghosts. There's Heather Larson. Elizabeth obviously does a lot. Nick.
Heather does all the social media. I know that. I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's me. And I think they've put together a good crew that all know each other, that work well with each other. There's not bickering going on, and I like it.
I again, all I've watched so far, mind you, it hasn't even been 2 weeks. So far, all I've watched is Ghost Crier, but next it will be Chris Sutton stuff, and then I'm going to go in the order of the guests I have coming up, but eventually I will watch everything. I just don't have enough time.
Yeah, they're doing good. So subscriptions are taking off like crazy, and I mean, I remember when it was first announced, your subscription a month was $29.99, and now it is down to $9.99.
Again, so I don't even know what it costs because it could be $2 and I couldn't afford it right now. But since the co-owner is now in the chat room, thank you for joining us, Matthew. He's the one who pays for it, and I really appreciate it because I like watching everything on there. So thank you, Maddie.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, so, but, it's 9 o'clock.
Yeah, it's 9. I got, at 10 o'clock on VidiSpace, we are premiering Dead Body. It's a Terror Films premiere. So, I will be in the chat at vidi.live. So,
how do you, wait. Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't seen anything live. How do you work the live stuff?
Run a lot of it.
I know my blonde root is showing, but
no, run it through OBS, which is a live streaming platform.
Oh, I don't have OBS. I know what it is, but
yeah, it's pretty cool. So, I jump on there and get it going at the time. Elizabeth stays in contact and does her thing on her end, and we just go for it, And last night was the Mothman. You got to check that one out.
I'm going to
Point Pleasant. Yeah. That was a phenomenal documentary.
I've been infatuated with that for years and years and years. Yeah. So I can't wait to see that one.
Phenomenal. It was so good. I sat here and watched the whole thing, just glued to it. So it was awesome. Thanks, Jen. She put it up there. Go to vidi.live.
Oh, is that how you do it? Vidi.live.
Yep.
You see, Jen's the expert. Jen and Matt, they tell me what to do. And well, I take that back. Nobody tells me what to do. If they try, I do the opposite. But, they tell me how to do it. They tell me how to do what I want to do. Yeah, they're laughing at me.
That's great.
For live feeds. Okay, see, I can figure it out. I'm not that, I am that dumb. I'm just kidding. Okay, well, I promised Chris that it would be 8 to 9 tonight, guys. So let's give out some shout outs, and I can't go back to the other chat, but in this chat room we have Jen, we have Mallory, we have Kim again, we have Matthew, we have Wolf, thank you, we have me, of course. I can't remember who was in the other chat, though. There's a few other people. Luna.
I know Dwayne was in the other one.
Dwayne, thank you, Dwayne. Yes, that's right. Still trying. It's hard to scroll on Spreaker. If I missed anybody, I'm sorry. I know I did miss people because there was other people in the chat. But Nicole, yes, thank you, Nicole. She coughed. Excuse you. Nicole is my partner in crime in everything I do. She 1,100% supports me on this. She's my little sister, but she's my partner in the paranormal, and I appreciate everything she does. So thank you, Nicole. I'm sorry, I did not mean to forget you. Hopefully I didn't forget anybody else. That's a problem with shout outs. You always forget people that are important.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was kind of looking at there, and thanks, Jen, for that too, about the photography I share on Instagram.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I love photography.
We talked a couple
Yeah.
months ago, I'm like, I don't talk much on Facebook, but I love the Instagram stuff. Or I said, I forget what I said. You're like, no, I see you. You're big on Instagram. And I'm like, yeah, that's me. But less you have to read. I just like pretty pictures.
Yeah. I love doing photography. To me, it gets me out of my zone of just paranormal based, and plus me, going to film school and photography and
Did you graduate yet? I know you made the
in
dean's
May.
list a few months ago, but
Yeah.
you graduate in May.
Yeah, May I will be.
Congratulations on the dean's list too, by the way.
Thanks. It's a change because in high school I didn't give a shit. So
How did you make the dean's list and a single father and work and do paranormal and do?
I don't know, like I don't know. I guess it's the projects I turn in.
You just
Which
love
is
what
kind
you
of
do.
weird, and it's weird because I have people coming up from classes like, hey, the teacher showed me one of your videos because they use it as example. Like, to me, it's like, I didn't think it was that good, but that's cool, That's
Your
cool.
stuff's
Like,
good. I'd show you mine, but compared to yours, you would cry. You'd be like, ah.
that's all right. I mean, hey, as long as you get a joy out of it, that's all that matters.
No, I'm just at the beginning. I'm starting.
Yeah.
Once I learn something, I get better and better. Just like podcasting, I will.
That's all it takes is to get better and better, and that can go back to the paranormal field. Don't stop. Like, just keep going and doing your thing. As long as you love it, who gives a shit what people think? Like, if somebody says,
Exactly.
"Oh, you're a horrible investigator," who gives a shit? Like, oh well, that doesn't matter. To me, can you be a horrible investigator? Yes, by the fact that you can sit there and say, "Go fuck yourself, spirit. Go do this. Go do."
You can provoke and be mean and rude. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say you're not doing it right, but yeah, I mean, people all got to start somewhere.
And every day, I just want to get better, no matter what it is. Mothering, peopling. I need help in peopling. I'm not a good peopler, but investigating, podcasting. Every day I wake up and whatever is on my list that day, I just want to get a little bit better. So this time next year, I'll be better at everything, just that much better. So
you'll keep building and building. I mean, you got
It can't get any worse, Chris.
No, it's been a good podcast. Thanks for having me. I do enjoy it, like, big time. I just like being able to talk and just tell people my experience in my life.
And I didn't interrupt you.
No. Yeah. No, you didn't. So, but it's definitely, I like enjoy being on yours. It's still cool.
Hey, you're welcome anytime. That was one of the things I said. If somebody brought up in chat that you would hear,
yeah,
nobody brought up because they must like me because nobody brought up anything I've ever said about you.
Come on, bring it up, people. Let's go. But yeah, I think you got talent. I don't think people will sit there and say no. Like, don't. If this is what you love to do, reach for the top. Keep going and going. Like, one thing, I will say, like, in this paranormal field is that these people that you're fans of and that you might not think you can get on there, you could get them on there because they're just people like us. Most of the people, they're humble and they are just themselves. Like I said, Elizabeth and Hauser and Hurd and all that, and Dustin and them, they could be the cockiest people because they've made it, but they're not. And they love the same thing.
That's what counts, I guess. I just like down to earth people, no matter who you are, what you do, because nobody's perfect. And even famous people aren't perfect. And sometimes people forget that and they're just like so awestruck that they're human beings. They have lives, they have feelings. And so.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks for having me, though.
See my sister? He's your paranormal crush. Yeah. You should see his face. It's so red right now, guys.
But I mean, like, thanks for having me. Like, I could keep talking forever if I didn't have to go jump
you have a job to do.
But it's been a great time. And like what I say on every podcast to everyone is don't forget the living, chasing the dead, Take care of the living too. Respect the dead. Always, 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 always respect the dead. If you're going to investigate, respect is your number one thing. Don't sit there and tell it to F off. And because if you get attacked, that's on you. Just respect.
You deserve it.
Yes. Respect
that might be harsh too, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Respect in life and to the dead is what it's about. And go give it where it's due. Like every year on the anniversary of the axe murders, I go and give flowers on their sites because that's what it's about. It's respect.
It is.
So
do what you do. Do what you love doing, but do it respectfully because these were people too. And they have some have feelings, but you don't know which ones do and which ones don't. Some's residual, but why take the chances? Be respectful. Treat them like you would want to be treated, alive or dead. Just treat them right.
Yes, I totally agree.
So, okay, guys.
Awesome. Well, jump over to Viddy Chat if anyone wants to come and watch a movie at 10 Eastern Time, 9 Central.
I'm going to try to figure it out.
There. All right.
Try. All right. Hold on, Chris.
Okay.
Thank you, guys. And we will see you next week. We have, I guess I got excited there for a second. Sorry. Next week we have Buddy Sawyer from Ocean State Paranormal. And then we have on the 26th, Cindy Sawyer. She was featured on Haunting for her exorcism. And then on, I believe the 9th, we have Mr. Coyote Chris Sutton, we should say. So until next week, we will see you then.
The views and opinions expressed in this podcast by the host and or the guest do not necessarily reflect the views of the host and or Paranormal Buzz Radio and or its sponsors. Use of any material produced by Paranormal Buzz Radio without express written consent is prohibited. Paranormal Buzz Radio will not be held responsible for you holding your knees, crying, and rocking in a corner in a puddle of your own urine, or being beheaded by a group of children in a cornfield. In fact, if you come across a group of children in a cornfield, we promise to make fun of you as you run away screaming in terror. Listener discretion is advised.